two kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now, joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force. But more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
Was poppin'. Welcome, Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And we are on the YouTube Livey.
It's back.
How are we feeling? How are you? I really like that hat.
Good.
Random. I said this before, but I really like that hat.
Yeah. I'm matching a little better today. I got the 10 on 10.
It's intentional.
Yeah. Didn't know it was an intentional move. Yeah.
Okay.
A good pickup. Shout out to H&M.
Yeah, H&M. Don't pay us.
Nice little pickup. Yeah.
That's what's up. But sorry, super random side note. Episode 48 dropped today. You know what I mean? Jay-Z talk, Drake and Kanye talk, Shaq talk, Pinky Cole talk. There was something else we talked about. Of course, the celebrity boxing, but yeah, whatever.
Beyonce talk.
Huh?
So I think Beyonce talked too, right?
I said Jay-Z, Beyonce.
Oh, okay, you did.
Yeah. I did. So, go check that out. Share that with everybody. All that great stuff. All Access Squad. Y'all know the deal. But what was that? It scared me.
Yep, my AirPods case fell. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Is it okay? You want to get it?
No, we Gucci. I got them on.
Anyways, for those who are live, let us know if you already heard the podcast or you're going to hear it later today or tomorrow. So I already heard it or I'm going to hear it. Let me know in the chat. And if this adds any kind of value at any point for my live viewers, just hit the super chat. You know what I mean?
Hey, flash the letters on that jersey real quick one time, just so that they know what's up.
What you talking about? Nope, I'm not.
The letters on your jersey. Why not? Come on, just one time for the one time.
I'm good because I'm a Mets fan, and I just. I'm a Mets fan. I'm just saying.
Okay. I will admit, even as a diehard Yankee fan, I've come to realize that the Met jersey is a little bit swaggier. Like something about just their color combination. They got a lot of they got the black, they got the blue, they got the pinstripe white. Yeah, I'll give you that. I ain't mad at it. How you feeling though?
I'm good. I'm chilling. It's Tuesday. It's podcast day.
Back on the healthy vibes.
Yes. So, okay, random, because you brought it up, right? So I'm like at the end of my juices and I realized I drank all the good ones. That's why I was like super like, yeah, this is great. Now I'm at the box of the not so great flavors, which is making me question this whole thing again. So I will be going to, what's the thing called? Whole Food.
Okay.
And getting some more of the ones that I like, and
Another
just probably
stash.
Throwing out the other one.
Do they have the mixture, or do they have like you could buy one kind for the whole? Like for example, I used to go to Costco, and they had like this sparkling water that I liked, but they would mix in all these different flavors, and like I only really like 2 of the 3.
No, you could buy separate.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
I'm just saying.
Perfect. That's a good move.
It is.
That's a good move. Well, let's go ahead and jump into it. If you're ready, I am.
Go ahead.
I was kind of thinking about, we've been steadily attacking Tuesdays with this concept of let's make sure the person in the personal brand is good, right? The person in the brand is good, which is you. Everyone listening, everyone watching on the replay, shout out to y'all. And I was thinking about like building teams,
right?
Building relationships, whether it be amongst you and people you work with, whether it be amongst you and your clients, your customers, even in some of your personal relationships. And I kind of got to ask myself, like, yo, what really is the downfall? Like, why is relationship so hard? Like, why is it difficult? For some people, it's just like, it's such a battle. Like, whether you feel misunderstood, whether you don't feel like you're being listened to or heard, whether you're constantly in disagreements and arguments, something is not happening. And I'm like, yo, a lot of these reasons really come back to expectations.
Right.
You know, the individual on one side feels like they have certain expectations of somebody or the group, and their needs are not being met. So as a result of it, they feel not valued, not appreciated, maybe not a good fit, not a good team, and they start looking to make replacements or adjustments. So, of course, the only way I know how to is to kind of like break down like, yo, well, what are expectations? And I think when, you know, I'm big on this, which is like when we give ourselves an opportunity to really relearn something with a new level of maturity, we can look at it from a perspective that you kind of like really helped me to embrace, which is, yo, what's the win-win? What's the happy medium? Like, what's that easy ground where both people can see the need for something and do it together instead of being like, all right, let's just go our separate ways. That's the easiest thing to do, because that is the easiest thing to do. But there's nothing fun in that.
Is it the easiest thing?
To do it like to go your separate ways?
Yeah. Why is that?
I think so.
Why do you think? Okay, break that down.
Because I say, like, when you're in a disagreement with somebody and you go your separate ways, in a sense, that's quitting. It's like, oh, we're not seeing eye to eye. All right, I'm out. I have found it like, if we can at least spend a little time trying to work on it. It's the same thing with something we're trying to accomplish. We might be going for a specific goal, whether it be a dollar amount or a health goal or a personal goal or any kind of goal. If we don't get it the first time and we walk and say it's not a good fit, is it really not a good fit, or is it maybe we didn't give our all? So I don't know. I've just found it like, yo, the easy thing to do is walk. It takes a little bit more courage to kind of be like, all right, you know what? Let me be the bigger person, or let me see how I can make this work. Let me at least say that I tried and truly gave it my all, so that I'm not living with regret. Because I do think that's something difficult to embrace. Like, I don't know that I have any regrets per se, but one of the biggest parts of my life, which I've always talked about, my first love being baseball. When I walked away from the game at 24, I didn't have any regret, because I had literally gave it every single thing I got. There was not any part of me that could have worked a little harder, that could have done this differently. Like, I had tried everything that I had, and given the resources and the knowledge I had at the time, I took it as far as I can go, which is a lot further than than many of the people from where I came from, or even just many of the people in general. Like, I think to make it just to college ball in general, you're probably the top 10 or 15% of all players. So it's like, okay, you made it good enough. My point is, it helps you to live when you know that you don't got no regrets.
Okay.
So let me give you a few definitions here that I thought were interesting. And people in the comments, man, I don't know what y'all think about. Give some feedback. I mean, I want to see what you guys think about this. Like, from how do you define expectation? Before I even start sharing it, I'd be interested to see, for those who are listening, like, yo, what's your personal definition of expectation, right? What is your experience with expectations in a relationship, both business and personal? Let's kind of start a dialogue. I like to keep that rolling as much as possible. So give us your take here. But here are the two things that I've come across, Nicks. So the strong one, the first one is, it says, expectation is a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. Or in other words, will be the case in the future.
Okay.
There's another one that says, a belief that someone will or should achieve something. All right. So it's like, it's my expectation of you to do something, and in most cases, for me. Or I expected you to do something, right? That when it doesn't go according to plan, I feel neglected or upset. All right. So give me your take of just expectations in a relationship, how you've managed or approached this concept of here's what I expect that person to do, or here's what I expect you to do, her to do, he to do, right? How you've managed expectations in a relationship, maybe some of the good lessons, some of the bad lessons, or some of the things that, you know what I'm saying, could have been good or bad in either direction. But give us your take and let's start the dialogue from there. And we'll jump right into it.
So I hate expectations.
I love it.
I hate them.
No, I love that you said that, is what I'm saying. But yeah, go for it.
Oh, I thought you were like, I love them. I'm like, okay.
No. I love that you said that. Yeah.
And I think that all festered. I think I'm echoing on your end.
You hear yourself back?
Yeah. But
Okay. Try now.
I think I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay now. Okay. So I think it stems from my past marriage because there was a whole bunch of expectations that I knew I can never meet. And so it was like, hey, yo, like you painted this picture and I'm me. Like, this is who I am. And you thought because of once we get married, I'm supposed to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I'm like, nah, right? And that relationship taught me a lot about expectations because it doesn't just stay, it's not just a personal relationship thing. I started looking at expectations from a whole and how somehow, some way, we get into this whole, like, it's supposed to be this way, it's supposed to be that way. If not, it's trash. Like, I'm more of, nah, that when you come into something with no expectations, it's only up from here. Like, you almost set yourself for failure with expectations because if it doesn't hit that, you feel like a failure or it's bad or it's wrong. And it may not necessarily be the case. It just may be different. It may be a different side of things that just because you expected it to be this way doesn't necessarily mean it was wrong done another way.
Right.
And so I'm more open-minded with certain things and very appreciative with things that happen, good or bad. Because I look at things a lot now where why I question to myself, why is it bad? Like, granted, besides the typical like murder and stuff like that, right?
Right.
But like just day-to-day stuff where I'm like, yo, that's crazy. And then I stop myself. I'm like, but is it? It's crazy to you. But to the masses or to that particular situation, is it really? So I hate expectations because I was there firsthand when someone has expectations of you and it's almost like an instant failure. You can never meet up to somebody's expectations that they put on you without even conversations, without like realistic points. And so from then on, I was just like, nah, I'm not. I look at it from a social media. I always preach on that with social media. We expect certain videos to do this, that, and the third, or certain content to do this, that, and the third, or sales. If not, it's a fail. And it's like, why? Because you have one person look at it, you have one person buy it, you have one person do something. I'm good. Like, I could work with one. I could work with the positive side of things and not necessarily just focus on what I expected and it didn't happen.
Man, that's good. That's good. I'm liking what Aaron said in the chat here. He said expectations bring undue pressure and unrealistic goals. I like that. That's huge. That's huge. And shout out to you for bringing such obviously a personal example into the dialogue, but it obviously super relevant. You know, when I think of expectations and why it can be difficult for teams to work together, why it can be difficult for us to create our own teams, when we walk through this lens of expectations, really what we're doing is we're almost automatically expecting, assuming, or anticipating other people to be just like us. Mm-hmm. Now, I've always, probably one of the things that has been my pet peeves is expecting people to be just like you, wired like you, have similar interests like you, have similar approach and perspectives like you, because I look at it as like, yo, you're so self-centered that you don't think that that person's unique way of doing something is meaningful.
Right.
So you immediately expect that your way is the best way and what they do or how they do it is not as valuable. So it's like that expectation, or maybe lack thereof, is just off the bat unfair. Now, when it creates a disconnect, and this is something that I think everyone listening to this should really look out for is, or at least keep in the back of your mind is, you can't see what they saw. There's no way. Like, you can't see what they saw. So there's no way to understand why maybe they fully did it that way, or what they were going through or experiencing that made them move the way that they moved. All right. Until you've had the opportunity to speak and connect on that, that's on you. That's on you for putting those expectations, right? And feeling like you've been disappointed or feeling like you've been let down. The other reason for it, and maybe you can chime in on this one as well, Nix, is that expectations is like lazy communication. Because, you know, like, rather than us actually coming face to face and having the difficult dialogue, it's like, no, I'm going to avoid the difficult conversation and just assume or expect you to do it the way I want to, or expect that you're not going to do this down the line. It's like, okay, but did you talk about it? Mm-hmm. Did you make that clear? Did you communicate that? Right. Even if it's uncomfortable. So a lot of the times people get caught up in, that's not the right person, that's not the right environment, that's not the right team, that's not the right client. But really it's you haven't given yourself the opportunity to walk down that, I don't want to say aisle so people don't think marriage, but you didn't give yourself the opportunity to walk down that lane and kind of see like, okay, where is the disconnect? Can we develop some level of understanding before we just disconnect and cut ties? Right. So again, my perspective and the challenge that I want to bring to the live tonight is that if you think quitting, if you think walking away is the answer, then you're taking the easy way out. What I'm challenging people to do tonight as it relates to expectation, team building, partnerships, servicing clients is have the difficult conversation early and often.
Okay. Let me play
Be devil's advocate real quick, because I know you're coming with it.
Let me play devil's advocate. So, okay, let me try not to put names into this. All right. So, here we go. So, what if you communicated the position, right? You communicated the position, what is expected or what is needed in that particular situation, that position. The person does not do what is needed, right? But you communicate it. What is the difference between what you expected for this position and what the person really can do?
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like a difficult question, but I'm going to still respond to it. Okay. I want to first say shout out to DeMarcus for joining us. It seems like he's new. Hey, we appreciate every person, but especially when it's your first time, we always want to show some extra love. Shout out to you for for coming in.
Everybody in the chat. Everybody in the chat say what's up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, show some love to DeMarcus real quick. Aaron's coming with the heat tonight, though. So Aaron said, I generally have either very low or no expectations. That way I'm not disappointed. But
Yeah.
even, and here's the thing, even having low expectations is not fair. Even having low expectations is not fair.
Why?
Right? It's like I get the idea of it. It's like, oh, don't set expectations. I get that. I understand the idea behind it. Well, if I set no expectations, then I'm not going to be disappointed. Well, typically what you ask for in a negative is what you're hoping not to happen will reoccur or will occur more often than not, right? Because whether you see it that way or not, it's still a request nonetheless.
Okay.
It's still a request nonetheless. What I've said is maybe remove what you hope to personally gain out of the situation. Right. So I've never really considered expectations per se, but I've looked at it more like, what do I hope to gain from this situation? Oh, nothing. I just have things to give and contribute. Right. So I'm not looking for financial gain. I'm not looking for a relational commitment. I'm not looking for somebody to help me feel, I don't know, appreciated, affirmed. Like when you remove some of your personal desires out of a situation and you can just say, okay, I'm here to give, not get, it changes this idea of expectation. It makes it less about you and what you get and more about what you can give and contribute. So I'm still not answering your direct question. I just wanted to speak to what Aaron put, because I'm like, too much expectation is not fair. Low expectation is not fair.
Okay, but if you go into every situation with a mindset of serving, isn't that draining?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So are we recommending everybody to go with a serving mindset with everything when that could be draining?
No. So there are certain situations where you are making clear what your objectives are.
Okay.
Right? It's like, hey, as a result of doing this, here's what I want in return.
Yeah.
Not what I expect, because and I've been fascinated with this bar, and I know Ryan Leslie isn't the source, because you told me I think it came from Jay-Z, but
bar. It's a Jay-Z bar.
Oh my God, has that thing changed my psychology and how I view tough conversations and contracts? Because I think they're both the same thing.
Yep.
You don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. Mm-hmm. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. So when you go into a dialogue, let's say a business deal, whatever it is, and you're saying what you expect, that means nothing. That means nothing. But when you make clear the objectives, the things that you want in return, in exchange for what you provide, that's more of a negotiation. It's not like a hopeful kind of strategy of, I hope one day maybe we could possibly do this. Mm-hmm. There's too much wishy-washy. Being clear and direct on what you want, what you give, and what you want in return, I think that's another way that can help not drain the energy of that concept. But to go to your point of what you said, like what happens when you make the role clear, but they still fall short. I think roles or responsibilities or expectations should never be stated alone. Like they should not be served naked on a platter.
Okay.
It's still lacking support, right? For me, I've always looked at it as like, roles and responsibilities need to come with two things: rewards and repercussions.
Okay.
I thought you would give me a better reaction. You kind of just like stayed tuned in. Anyway, so
I'm tuned. Well, I don't like the words repercussions. I'm not a fan for that. Well, maybe because I don't put myself in a position to where I need repercussions. But
no, it's cool. I mean, you could look at it as accountability, but I just think I like the traditional method of doing things, right? There was a time where it wasn't so much contract, but it was my word was so meaningful to me that I want to honor my commitment. So if I said, Nicky, Tuesday at 8, I'm going to be there Tuesday at 8. We don't got to sign on the dotted lines. That just is what it is. I think in today's world, and I'm not just going to say any generation, I think we all should just take ownership of this. That's not the case today. There's a lot of us who are like, we can do better in that category, right? And just not anything to anybody else, but honoring the commitments that we make to ourselves. So like some of the stuff we don't achieve, like your brain is laughing at you when you say, I'm going to do this, because you've let you down so many times that even your mind is like, stop playing. You know, you're not going to do that. Like we've been here too many times before. So I say repercussions. If you don't like the word, choose accountability. But that's what I'm saying. Like there's got to be something that is set in stone that lets you know, hey, if you hit the mark, here's what you get. But if you don't, here's how we hold you accountable to that. So I think even having that more well-rounded kind of communication style to let somebody know, it might seem like you're micromanaging. It might seem like you're over the top. It's not. I just don't like to leave any room for assumption. So that's how I've just always looked at it, Nick's like, yo, here's the clear objectives on both ends. And I think that's a fair way to come to agreement on something.
I agree. That's good.
Interesting.
That's good.
Yeah. Let's flip it a little bit now. I hope we've covered the personal side. I want to do some questions today. So if any of you have any questions, maybe start dropping them now or saving them in the last 5-10 minutes. Maybe we could do some questions. That would be cool. I don't think we've ever really done live Q&As, but if you have any, I think it'd be cool to kind of dialogue on some questions a little bit later. But I want to jump into the other side now of more so the client or customers, or on the business side of it, right? Managing the expectation of your customer, because you have some scenarios where, I mean, if you, like I said, a lot of my experience was in the hospitality industry as well. And there was this mentality or like this model that was always taught, which is like, yo, the customer's always right.
Yep.
I don't care if they said a pig just flew and broke into my window. You're right. Let's go clean it up.
Yep.
But I think that can be a little bit out of pocket as well. Like that's not fair. So how have you done it? Maybe now or before, how have you managed the expectations of clients that are a little bit unrealistic?
I don't deal with
you
clients.
know, like I
for that simple fact. No,
is
for
that
the
the main
simple fact.
reason why?
Yeah, that's the main fact. I'm not a customer service person, right?
How have you learned that?
By dealing with clients.
Yeah.
By dealing with clients and understanding that you hired me for a reason. And when you go against that reason because you have a control problem, right? It makes it a bit difficult for me. It's like you're going to, because you paid, assume that you're always right. For me, I learned very early, I'm not hungry for your money. So I cannot agree that you are right, because I don't move just because you swipe the card. So you either come to me with full-blown trust and being open-minded, or we can't rock. Because I'm not here to act like you tell me what to do. I can't do it, because 9 out of 10 times, if you're trying to jump into my lane, why'd you get me? Why? I'm very confused. So for me, I've learned that I'm big on doing the serving as far as giving out the information and guiding people that way. Not doing it for them unless there's complete trust and creative control. But here, I could tell you and show you everything, no holds bar. I don't, because you clearly want to do it. Now, there are some that are like, nah, I need you to do it. And I've turned down so many people. My team could tell you, like, I'm not the one. I'm not. Because let it come weird, I'm done for another 2 years. I'm good. So for me, I understand I'm not a customer service situation. That's not me. I don't believe the customer is always right.
I like that. But I think you kind of low key kind of said one of the ingredients though. Like you know your needs enough to know that although you don't like to do it, if push came to shove and you were to take on that position or that one individual, whatever the case may be, the key ingredient for you is creative control. Right? So it's like now I don't feel that I'm being micromanaged. Right. I don't feel that there's a lack of trust. And I can really move in a way that allows me to operate at my best anyway. Right? So even when you think of that layout, just as service providers, maybe probably a little bit different for products, but for anyone kind of building some form of service providing led personal brand, I think those are some things that don't hurt to lay out front too, right? It's like, and I know it might be difficult because some people in the industry typically, especially if you're starting off new and you really like every single dollar that's coming in is going to change your direction, or it's going to move the needle for you, or it's going to make a big difference. You might almost get to the point where you're willing to pass on a lot of things, but the more you pass, the less valuable you become. Like I'm telling you, because and I'm not saying pass on clients. I'm not saying on that. I'm saying the more you pass on like things that go wrong, warning signs, red flags with a client or with a person that you're looking to provide your services to, but you're like, oh man, but I really need the money. The more you pass on those red flags because of the money or because of your need for that, the less valuable you become. Because what I found is people then find it easy to mistreat you. Right. It's like, oh, there's no reason or any real loss for me if I violate this line, or if I show up late, or if I misuse the time, or if I stay later than I was welcome. Like any of those things show that your schedule is not full, you're not as booked as busy, right? So like I saw somebody up top say, oh, it sounds like a school teacher. Call it what you want, but it helps you earn the respect of the marketplace, right? Like I think when you make yourself too readily available for people, they abuse you. That's just, it's like, oh, they ain't got nothing to do better anyway. What you mean? You ain't got nothing. Just come on here, give me this extra for the same amount. It's like, that's not right. So when you take that approach of like, nope, there are certain standards, right? There's a certain way to do it. So I'm all for it. So like, I'm just saying, like, as a service provider, maybe one of the things you need to do is figure out what you need to be able to deal with people so that you can do your best work and also feel respected and appreciated by them. On the flip side of it, the other thing that I've often kind of took it, or don't, straight up, absolutely, I agree. I agree. One of the things that I had to come to grip with was, honestly, I'm not in the business to negotiate. Right. Like, because I think when you say when a core part of what you're applying, fixing, or working is backed by your information or your unique lived experience, then it may sometimes feel like, oh, well, I can go against that, or I can ask questions, or I can play like, it's like, no, hold on, let's be very clear here. If you were hired, I'm not going to say I, because I don't want people to think it's about me or it's about Nicky, but I'm just saying, as a service provider, if you were hired, right, to do a certain type of work, it is not a negotiation. It is not a oh, let's go back and forth about how I can make this work. It's like, no, you should walk into a scenario knowing very clear and well, what is it that we're doing? And this is how we do it. It's not an opportunity for us to negotiate back and forth, because that's another thing that I found people can like open up more loopholes or just create more issues in a dialogue. Why? Because now people are back and forth and fighting you on everything that you do, that you can't really help guide the dialogue or take it anywhere, objective. You said you don't get what you deserve.
You get what you negotiate.
Yeah. On what point? I think this might be a little delayed, so I don't know which point it is.
It's a little delay. Shout out to everybody who's in that super chat. Y'all get the air horns for real. Well, let me say this as Isaiah types out what he means. This is where, again, legal and contracts come in play as far as the clear promise, Mm-hmm. And in the very beginning of majority of people's business is just a matter of invoice, credit card, invoice, cash. It's not necessarily the contract thing. I think that's one of the things that turned me off from service provider. It's like, okay, I got to do too much, because if you don't contact me at a certain point, now this is lingering. If I don't have that in contract, you're going to say that I paid, this service is there forever. If I have to edit it 7 times and I didn't put that in the contract, like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like, shout out, and I mean this with all my heart, shout out to all the service providers and whatever you do, because that takes a different type of patience, and I don't have it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It takes
I don't
guts.
have it. Yeah. I believe, for me, I'm serving in a different way. I thought it was, when I first got into this, like, okay, I did so well with this, let me do this for others. And I didn't really think about the thought of, I really did this for a bigger reason, for a bigger purpose. And now I'm removing that purpose for money, and it's not the same thing. You don't have the same type of energy nor patience, because the reason why you are a service provider for maybe 1 or 2 is because you truly believe in that certain situation. You truly want to see a bigger impact, and you feel like you have the skills and the knowledge to do that. It took me a while to figure that, and a lot of getting pushed over a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true. Yeah, I think turning your passion into a hustle makes it lose flavor.
Yes.
All right, like if you entered for a specific reason and then you found there's an opportunity to just collect a couple dollars, it's no longer a passion. It's just something that's losing flavor. It's like it's definitely not the same. Isaiah said, you don't put yourself in the position to negotiate. That's your favorite part. No, so what I'm saying is, so when I say don't negotiate, I'm saying like, let's say Isaiah, I was your client, and you're advising me on what to do from a video content perspective. And I'm like, but Isaiah, like, I just don't feel that. And it's like that back and forth. It's me fighting you as the expert on how to do something. That's a different type of negotiation. When I say what you get, you get what you negotiate, not what you deserve, I mean that prior to an agreement, that if we were coming to business together, where it's like, okay, Isaiah is the video content expert, the master storyteller, I'm going to lead his business development. What's going to be kind of our working relationship? Now that's where we negotiate. It's like, you might be like, yo, 60-40, I'm the talent. And it's like, that's the negotiation part where I'm saying I'm a fan of, because as someone early in the industry or just early in my business career, I was so like excited by the opportunity of getting into business that I quickly wanted to rush through all the what felt like tedious or monotonous work that's up front, because I looked at it as, oh, that's stuff that can make me lose the opportunity. Because if I say no to you, then I lost it. It's like, no, that's not necessarily true. It's like, that's what a negotiation is. It's a two-way street of us being able to exchange our desires so that we can land on something mutual.
I think I used to think if I said no to an opportunity, I wouldn't get another opportunity. I was big on saying yes to everything because I never knew when the next one would come. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like something would be like, oh, you said no? You're not appreciative of your opportunities. I'm not sending you no more. No more opportunities. And then I was like, you know what? I'll just create my own. I won't wait. So I could say no because I could create my own. So.
How would you say, and again, I'd like to think we're at a relatively, like, we're in a fortunate position, right? We get to choose who we work with. We have like a lot of almost like little demands that need to be met for us to step out of the house almost. I'm very fortunate, very blessed. Not perfect by any means, not bragging by any means, but I'm just saying, like, I know that 5 years ago that wasn't the case.
Right.
But knowing what you know now, Nix, how would you do that beginning stage differently? Like from managing expectations to just like, because you need to provide service in the beginning, or for the most part, let's just say if you had to, how would you do that differently so that, you know, it can make sense?
Honest answer, I wouldn't do service. Honest answer. I really wouldn't. But if I knew what I know now, I would do it way different. However, let's just say I just get to redo with no knowledge, right? Like, not true. Okay. So I think it would be a real talk with self with understanding value first, of like worth. Like, what are you truly worth? Because I think for me, once there was a proof of concept, right, I didn't understand what to do with it for other people. Because now everybody's coming to me and I'm like, okay, I started off with free 99 or a small amount. I guess I have to do that with everybody. And I would know off top, no, you do it for this particular situation that opens doors and creates opportunity for you. And the rest, you have to put a certain price and give that price to each and every single one who asks. Not customized, not what do you need kind of vibe. Let me put that in there, right? And leave it open. These are the particular things you get. This is how much it is. And if this isn't it, this isn't it. And being okay with that, because that first opportunity is still there. And you and I learned enough from that to be able to later down the line create it for myself.
That's interesting. Yeah. And I would say something similar, but maybe in a slightly different direction, just because I really do love like business development and just kind of the building phase of a business. And I think my early mistakes was like I was caught on ROI or return on investment, but knowing what I know now, I would advise somebody to really get clear on IOI, like impact on investment or impact by investment, because you might measure what someone can make, but you're not able to clearly see the impact that you're making in their business, and that will never allow you to truly appreciate your worth, what you charge, or what you actually do. So I used to think that, oh, I help people. I don't know. Let's just use a broad example. I help people communicate better.
Okay.
And it's like, if you're selling better communication, that's cool. Like that's not bad. I can see that as a valuable thing. Like we see through this expectation dialogue that communication is important. But if you really measure the impact that a better communication will do for someone from a business standpoint, you start to say, well, if I make you a better communicator, I make you a better salesperson. If I make you a better salesperson, I help make you more money.
Yeah.
If I help make you more money, I probably change your quality of life. So like when you fully are able to see opportunities or see what you do and how it translates in true value in the lives of the people that you're working with or providing service for, you start seeing what you do differently and you name it differently. And I think a lot of people, or a lot of times, people would pay more for something that sounds like it's more valuable to them. So that was one of, I think, maybe lack of experience or knowledge. I thought I was providing one thing and people were latching onto it like, oh, I'm not letting go. Because what you think is making me 1,000, it's actually making me 1,000,000. So I'll keep paying you on the idea of you're only making me 1,000, but I'm banking 1,000,000. So it's like, oh, you agreed to a contract on the idea of I'll help you make 1,000, but the true IOI is I'm helping you impact for 1,000,000. Like you would even structure that deal differently from that standpoint. And then lastly, I think the other piece of it is I would really think about whatever I do, is it scalable? So like my new focus right now is scaling our business to 8 figures. It's like, I think as 6 figures is a phenomenal deal, especially if you're a startup entrepreneur. To hit the 6-figure mark is like, yo, coming from a minority background and hit 6 figures of anything is a major deal. It's like, yo, I done hit it. That's amazing. But then you play in that ballpark for a little bit, you even might hit 7 figures, and that's a big deal. But I think the true level of excitement for me now is being able to manage an operation that stretches through 8 figures. So my point is, when you think through that mentality, you don't waste your time doing things that don't scale. Like, you might find something that's actually very feasible and it's great and it might even be fun, and you can choose to do it because it's fun, or you could choose to do it from a business perspective. But when it comes to business side, if you're going to truly tie your resources and your time and even your energy to something, like really think through like, yo, is this going to scale? Can I see myself continuing to do this 5 years from now?
Right.
And sometimes the passion is there, but the idea itself just doesn't have the capacity to do it, whether it's because there's not enough customer base in that particular like vertical or industry, or there's not enough people who can afford the product at that rate to make it such a scalable business. So like, that's kind of what I'm on now. Like, I really have gotten away from the hustle part of things, and I've thought about like, yo, I know it's boring, but what's that long-term big picture that can help you scale something and make sure you stick around for a while?
I agree. I've been on that for a little bit, so I totally
I remember.
agree.
Yeah, I remember we had that conversation about moving as an executive. Yeah, I remember that. That was probably last summer sometime. But I learned that lesson late. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely arrived to it late. I was like, oh, that's it. That's not the way to do it. So
Yeah, I think it goes like, and another thing with exposure. Like, I think we see the hustle and bustle, and once we master it, it's like, oh, I could charge a premium for it, right? Mm-hmm. But when you do something, is that truly scalable? Because you are just one person, right? So you can go, and if we're thinking about from a consultant thing, like you could go from 100 an hour to 1,000 an hour to 5,000 an hour to like, yo, you're not talking to me unless you get this particular program that's like about 20K or something like that. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's still not scalable. Mm-hmm. Unless you duplicate yourself. And duplicate yourself, whether it's by another person or you do that in a digital way to where it's more hands off. And yes, they do pay a premium to talk to you, but you're not losing any kind of money because you duplicated yourself until it hits that particular point. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so, like, right now, that's my big focus is creating systems as far as I don't want to say this every single day of my life, right? But I also want to continue to serve every single day of my life. So what's a happy balance that doesn't drain me, but it still does the mission? And that's more of bringing a community together and giving them certain lessons until they hit that point of, Nicky, I need to talk to you for this customized vibe, right? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But before, and we could get very blinded by how much money you can make when you put it on your back. Like, all right, I've done all of a sudden, I've done everything. I could charge this. People are actually paying for this. This is great. It's great until you can't go outside. You can't go on vacation. You can't even go out to eat on dinner with friends because you have a meeting. You have a one-on-one you have to attend to. You have this to attend to. And I'm just like, I don't want to be confined to a phone, to a computer, as far as work-wise, just to pay the bills. Or to live, not even pay the bills, to live a certain kind of lifestyle. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to take the long road of figuring it out for the sake of things can literally be a push of a button and I'm good.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, and I think as you're right. These are definitely things that and when I remember we sat in a room with somebody who came in, we were actually in Michigan, and he kind of was like teaching us on like how to scale coaching businesses or service provider, because a coaching or consulting is still a service. You know, you're still a service provider.
Yep.
But he was like really trying to stress the importance of, don't build it around you, or don't build it around you having to be on the phone, on a call, in front of a computer, talking to somebody. And that is your main motivator. Look, from an impact standpoint, I think there's no better feeling than being able to walk someone through their idea, their business, their even personal challenge, and help them experience a breakthrough that puts them on a totally different path. And a couple years down the line, whatever it is, they look back like, yo, what you helped me navigate has totally made me a new person. Yeah. It's awesome. But when you think about why he is who he is because the videos have done that for him. And it might have even been a mistake. Like the videos was a way of him being able to reach more people, but he's reached more people as a result of that. Like he's actually done a scalable impact model because it's through the videos. It's not him having to be on the phone with people. But when you are, just for service providers out there, know that the outside of duplicating yourself, the real, like your real competition isn't other coaches. It isn't lead generation media. It's not marketing. Your main competition in that type of business model is time. Because you only have set amount of time in a day, set amount of time in a week, so on and so forth, a month, a year. So just know that you're racing up against time, not anyone else. So when you like take that into consideration, it's like, do I want to build a business and go all in on something that even at my absolute best, I can only do it for a set amount of time and have to choose between my life, what matters to me, my family, my quality of life, and my business or my clients? It's like, it's not even fair to put yourself in that type of position. So yeah, Nix, that's all I got, man. I hope this was valuable. I don't know if we got some time or if anybody got some questions, just want to drop them in the chat real quick. Be more than happy to kind of dialogue over some of those the last couple minutes here. But as always, hope this was valuable to you. Hope this give you an opportunity to sit back and reflect, maybe learn something new, maybe remind you of something you already knew. But either way, I think these moments are important, especially as people, who are trying to grow their reach, their business, grow as a person in this world. We need to do more of this, like sit and reflect, learn, actively engage in good conversation, thought-provoking conversation. I think those things are important, and I hope that we were able to do that for you here on Nicky and Moose.
So if there is no questions, look, go share the episode, okay? Go share the episode. Shout out to everybody who hit us on the super chat. That was a whole vibe. If this added any kind of value, hit that super chat. It could be $1. It could be whatever you want to put. It could be a sticker. However you feel like doing this, right? And tomorrow, which is Wednesdays, every Wednesday at 8 p.m., the full video of this week's episode drops. Okay? So if you are the video type, which I'm assuming because you're on YouTube, you know what I mean? Drops tomorrow, but definitely listen to the audio. Share it. Make sure this jumps on the... Listen, okay, this is what I'm going to say.
Tell them.
Okay. I need a favor. Me and you need a favor, okay? We need reviews, okay? The way we stay on the charts, right, is reviews. The way the system is set up, like, oh, this is a good show, this is a good podcast, is reviews, okay? So we're going to need those reviews. So if you're going to drop, if this added any kind of value, bump the super chat. If this added any kind of value, type in, I'm about to leave a review right now. If you are real about Nicky and Moose and you are down to help us make sure that our show is credible and that we stay on the top the way we've been. You know what I mean? I need to make sure. This was, look at this. Aaron said, this was super helpful. Will you elaborate on 120? Hear me? Because Moose is speaking at 120, has his own segment, as I said and claimed on this show. Okay? He was trying to hide.
I was not. I was the very last one to find out about it. But I mean, hey, I'm grateful nonetheless. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Aaron, I don't know specifically which part, but if you ask the question, my man, I'll be more than happy to deliver. So yeah, let me know which part specifically, if I can't touch on it during any one of the sessions. I think there are 2 sessions. We got the flight assessment session early in the morning, and then we got that other session in the afternoon. But how about this, dog? Look. I don't know if you caught what I meant when I said that in the text. When I said they let the heavy hitters close, like typically when they put you last, it's not a bad thing. They let the best people close, and you're one of the closers. I'm like, yo, it's kind of a big deal. Like you a closer. That's what's up. That's dope.
I don't look at it like that.
Yeah.
I don't look at it like that. I'm more of a give me the first.
Let me go first?
Yeah, give me the first.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, give me the first. Make the people feel bad who are late. You know what I mean? Set the tone.
Because you missed out. Yeah.
Yeah, but set the tone. Set the bar. And then I'm done. Now I gotta watch everybody. I gotta like have like a side, like a pain in my side. Like, why are you running late? Because now that shortens up my time. Or am I allowed to go? Like,
that's good. That's good. Okay, I see what you're saying. No, typically for me, I like everyone else to go so I can like have an advantage of what not to say or how to say it better. So I'm kind of like sneaky with it. I'm like, no, you go. So I can see, oh, Ash, we literally asked, or I asked if you were going to be there. So if you are, that would be awesome. I hope you're there.
We do.
I specifically asked about you and Kurt. Yeah, I asked about you and Kurt. So I hope you guys are going to be there.
He did. I remember that. But yeah, I don't want to go last. I don't want to go second to last. Okay, and then second to last. Yeah. That means I have to finish on time.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
So somebody can cut into your time, but you got to finish on time. You're smart.
See? I'm
that's
just being realistic.
That's why you got to go up to the person. You got to go up to the person before you and nudge them real quick. Like, hey, you don't finish on time. So
yeah, but it's sharing. I mean,
I know.
It's like people you like. You can't even do that. It's like people you like.
Right.
I'm cool on people I don't like, but it's Ash is coming. Way.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
So, real quick. I know we gotta go because it's 9:02. However, what topic do you want Moose to speak about? What topic do you want me to speak about at 1:20? How about that? What would you like Moose to speak about on his own segment, his own separate thing by himself with the big screen? Because we're going to have digital screens, so he's going to be a big deal. Yes. Okay?
Oh.
And then what would you like the little small 5'2" black and Puerto Rican chick to talk about? You know what I mean? That'll probably only have like 5 minutes.
Oh no.
The problem is this is the thing. This is a real life situation. When I'm the type, not I'm the type. My segments are always the one that have the most questions. Ever since the first time I spoke, which was at P7D, I was only supposed to speak for 5 minutes. They had to get me off because everybody was asking questions. It's always that situation.
That's true.
That is dumb. They left me last.
I see that even on our calls now. That's true. You make a good point though. That's real.
Did you see the question? You said ask the questions and they asked the question. See?
Oh, how can we specific or I think that says specify. I don't know why it says specific. How can we specify our market beyond demographic data? I think that's more of a Nicky question, like as it relates to audience and niche. How can you get clear on your audience beyond just their age, where they're from, what they, like those basic age, whatever kind of stuff. What would you got?
So I would say, I'll give you like 2 or 3. What do they look up on Google? What keeps them up at night? And what are their desires in life? 3 things. Instead of age and where you from and education and marriage. Nah. What are they looking up? What keeps them up at night? And what are their desires? That's another one. And I saw one more. Oh, this is a loaded question.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a
lot, Maury.
Maury, we gotta leave that. That's a loaded question. We would have to know like what what do you have so far? Are you like a one man band? Do you have few people? What have you done so far? It's a loaded question. But we got you. Jump back next week. Next week, we'll answer the question. We'll leave more time for questions. And if you say, hey, Nikki, remember that question about how to build a team? I need it answered. Now, if you don't say that, I'm going to forget. I'm gonna be honest. Okay? I can be honest. I'm going to forget. Anyways.
Love it.
She said, I need help. No, we got you. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, that's real.
It's just a loaded question.
That's real. Yeah.
As
a matter of fact, when you ask the question next time, just give us a little like summary of where you're at. Give us like a nice little brief summary. Here's what I got. Here's what I want to go. Here's what I've done. Or, give us some of that so we can kind of figure it out. And we got you. She
said, I'll be back. So, listen, with that right said, same time, same place, next week. I was about to say Sunday. Why was I about to say Sunday? I don't even know why. Tuesday. At 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. 5? 4?
5.
What? 5. Okay, 5 West Coast time. I always mess this up. I need to write this down in front of somewhere, right? Is the YouTube live show. We will see you next week. Thank you, Moose, for